Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and Abigail Mott.
Hello everybody, you seem very energized today. Oh, come on.
Sorry about that. I'm very energized today.
Right in my face.
I'm very energized today, as you can see. I need
face.
burping. It wasn't right in your
Give me
face.
a hand.
I was like, ow! Oh!
Oh my god, that's so dramatic.
To my family, I love them. Except Ryan. Very energized.
That was weird.
I was very energised because the past couple of days I've been literally kicking about with Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Brian were playing football and taking it too seriously.
Of course you would.
The ball was like the size of my fist, and we were playing with a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 60-odd-year-old.
Yeah.
Probably 66-year-old actually. And me and Brian were doing Cruyff turns. Like we were literally a handshake and a Snowstorm away from doing slide tackles. I was on the ground diving around. The goals were about 1.5 feet, 2 foot wide.
Interesting. Well, now that we have had your diary entry for your family gathering, shall we actually get on with this?
I had some cake and lots of food.
Shall we get on with this? What have you been playing?
Lots of dancing, partying, music, dancing. Yes, nice. Shrimp on the Barbie. What have you been doing?
I have been playing The Sims 4, trying to get my head around it, because like I said, I wanted to try that 100 baby challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So I've just been playing it for a little bit just to sort of get my bearings on it, because I've not played The Sims 4 before.
How are you feeling about it?
It's alright, but it's a bit like when I went to play The Sims 3 for the first time. It's fun at the beginning, you know, because there's stuff that's different from the first one. However, I'm starting to find it a little bit boring. What I would say is it'd probably be a lot more interesting if I had the expansion packs, like the off to work one and things like that. That would probably make it more interesting.
I think that what might work would be a good set of challenges.
Yeah. But also I find that what I enjoy a lot more is actually sort of sitting down and just designing houses. I find that to be the most fun.
So maybe I could give you a set of challenges and you come up with the best idea you've got.
Yeah. I think once I actually just genuinely sat for like about 4 hours one day just designing a house, and I was kind of disappointed at the fact that when it was done, I had to go back to playing the game. So I went off and designed another one.
Is there any way to do that? Can you like upload houses as...
Yeah, you can, I believe so. Because I remember as I watched somebody else do the 100 baby challenge, and they were able to download houses that like fans were making.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So maybe I should do that.
Make houses for
Make
other people.
Make a house and send it to her and see if it gets put on YouTube.
Or you could just put it on YouTube yourself. I'm offended.
You're always offended.
I haven't been this offended since yesterday.
I don't think anybody wants to know what you did yesterday. But yeah, I found it because there's much more detail in The Sims that you can do than you could have done in The Sims 3. So I remember The Sims 2, I found it really boring. Like, you can give them like tattoos and stuff like that, but it didn't go anywhere. I don't know. I've not tried to give them tattoos in this one. But yeah, it's a lot more fun. One thing I will say is, like, I think with The Sims 3, you were able to sort of go into more detail with how the hair looked, like designing the colors and like that. I don't think you can go into much detail in The Sims 4 with that. But it is enjoyable. It's more enjoyable. The controls are slightly different, though, I find.
Why?
There was a way I was able to... I can't remember what it was. I think I've just gotten used to this way I move about in this one. But there was a way in the old one that I was able to move about that I can't anymore, like, control the camera. That's what it was. Before I was able to sort of... It didn't matter if I was zoomed in or zoomed out. I could change the camera angle. But with this one, it seems to be I can just change the camera angle depending if I've zoomed in or not.
Right.
Which is quite annoying. But maybe there is a way and I've just not been able to figure it out yet.
Okay.
I've not been playing it that long for that length of time. I've got elders now. Like, the one I created is now an elder, though, which is kind of sad to see.
Yeah, passage of time, I wouldn't put that in The Sims, that's a bit scary.
You can alter the passage of time.
Yeah, 0. No passing of time.
But there's a lot more you can do with, like, kids now. In the
Excuse me?
But there's more stuff that you can do, have the kids do, more activities and things like this. Before, I found it quite a struggle to sort of get to their kind of like goals that they had when they were like toddlers, goals they had when they were children. Now it's a bit easier to do. Like a life goal.
Right.
Also, something I've been trying to do was with The Sims 3, I would always just choose the qualities I wanted my Sims to have. Now I'm just sort of like doing randomizing to make it a bit more of a challenge.
That's a good idea, actually.
Which is quite fun.
I remember some people that I watch online just made copies of themselves and then killed them all off in different ways.
That would be terrifying.
So they had to draw names out of a hat and then a type of death to decide who died what way.
I'll make a version of you. How about that? And I'll send it to you. I'll send a picture of it to you. This is you.
How is that person gonna die?
I don't know. I'll just make a version of you in the game.
Okay.
I'll give you a really kooky summer outfit. Bet you'd love that.
If the head shaking wasn't clue enough. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, but I never tried to make myself in games like The Sims. I think I only ever played the first one, and
What was the first one like? Because I've only ever played from Sims 2 onwards.
it looks very similar to Sims 4, to be honest. It was maybe just a little bit drabber in some ways, a little bit slower, but I kind of liked that about it.
Yeah.
It was a bit harder as well because a bit more like real life, but you couldn't really do everything you wanted to do because you had to excel in a career, and to be able to do that you needed to have certain skills.
Well, you do that in this one.
The difficulty there was that you had to have a certain like enjoyment ratio, enjoyment rating. You had
Yeah.
the sim had to be having a certain amount of fun, and that was really, really difficult to maintain because you needed them to have, say, a high science level. So you needed them to keep reading their science books and doing science experiments, but you couldn't get them to do it because they would stop. So you were reliant upon your character's non-existent work ethic. It's just so annoying.
Imagine if getting a job in the real world was as easy as that. I'm just gonna read a few books and that makes me ultra qualified, or I'll just do some extra skills that makes me ultra qualified.
No, I'm glad they didn't make it realistically difficult. Otherwise, you would lose your house within the
Yeah.
first couple of hours of playing the game.
But no, I'm saying imagine if real life was as easy as that. That'd be fun.
In some ways, real life should be as easy as that. You should be able to get the job that you want to do. Because it's a complete misuse of your talent if you can't.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to give as much to a job they're not happy doing as one that they are. Anyway, shall we move on to some things we want to talk about?
Yes.
So first thing we're going to talk about today, Activision. Would you say that we like them or not?
We don't.
Well done. It wasn't supposed to be a question like that. I was asking your opinion, but you treated it like a right or wrong one, so I thought I'd give you a gold star. Have you played? You've played things from Activision.
Have I?
Spyro.
Oh yeah. I've still not finished that game.
Yeah, you should. At Activision, during the development of Blops 4, also known as Black Ops 4, also known as Call of Duty Black Ops 4, also known as COD Black Ops 4. Yep. The QA testers, that's, I assume, quality assurance,
Yeah.
were treated like scum.
And for those who don't speak Tommy, that's scum.
They were allowed 20 minutes at official parties. They were put on a different floor. They were not allowed to talk to the actual developers, to the point where people developed friendships that they had to keep secret.
That's mad.
Yep. They were given a different car park, which was further away from the building. They were the butt of all the jokes, and they were blamed for everything that went wrong. There was no air conditioning. Now, this is in Los Angeles during the summer.
Jeez.
And they were split into two 24-hour groups 12 hours each, a day and a night cycle.
Why are they playing it at night?
To test it, because the development process for Black Ops 4 was so rushed, because they originally developed like an open world single player.
Okay.
And it fell apart, so they had like 9 months to develop some sections of it, a year to develop others, so the whole thing was like a year. And 9 months to develop the Blackout thing that they did instead of a single player campaign. They didn't. Again, they removed the single player campaign because they'd made a bad one and didn't have time to fix it.
I was trying to think, like, was there a special reason they had to play it at night time? Was there like
no?
A
It was
special
just
feature?
it was quality assurance during its development, so they had to keep playing it the whole way through. Otherwise, they couldn't test it in time.
Yeah.
They had to give the developers a chance to fix it. But I don't know how they managed to do that when the QA team wasn't allowed to talk to the development team.
That's
but
mad.
You're talking about the day section for this had air conditioning.
Yeah.
The night didn't. The building automatically turned the air conditioning off at night time. So you had an entire floor full of quality assurance testers all playing the game in a sealed room with no air conditioning.
No.
So they were joking about how it was like working in a sweatbox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's obviously ridiculous. You can't have people...
That must be health and safety.
They were in danger. Now, eventually they managed to get them to turn it on at night, but only after, I think it was a couple of months, and it was intermittent. I don't know if it was deliberate or if it was like, see if you get them at just an uncomfortable amount of temperature, they'll do more work for us. I wouldn't have done that under those conditions. I'd have downed tools.
Yeah,
Just
same.
put my sweaty face on the controller and smeared it from side to side. Oh, seagulls agree.
But also, you have to think of maybe they couldn't afford to do that. Maybe they had to have this job. You have to remember that there are people that will if you are desperate enough for something, you will put up with anything.
Yeah. So the one last thing here before we move on to something that approaches that a bit more is the Q&A testers where, and I think this was described as dehumanizing, and I agree with it. There was food bought for the employees.
Yeah.
And the Q&A testers were expressly forbidden from touching the food until the developers were done eating.
That's mad.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's like, dehumanizing is the right word for that. I'm trying to think of a time when that... Can you think of another comparison to something like that? Where a group of people had to eat first before anybody else could?
Royalty. It kind of reminds me of, there was a custom, I can't remember where it was, but the king would eat first and then the court would like descend on the leftovers. Pretty sure it's like one of the King Louis of France. Yeah. Yeah,
the UK royalty, I think once they've stopped eating, everybody has to stop.
So that was the thing about Queen Victoria. She could eat food like nobody's business. Like, even when she was like very young, she'd eat a lot.
But she'd do it quickly.
She'd wolf it down.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very good. Have you ever seen a movie called Victoria and Abdul?
No.
There's a really good bit in that shows you how quickly she would have eaten. Judi Dench plays Queen Victoria, again. Remember she was Mrs. Brown. Yeah. I
find that really annoying. I find that really annoying.
Why?
The fact that she would eat so fast.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like Judi Dench playing Queen Victoria or something.
No, just that it's so annoying that everybody else had to stop eating because she had wolfed her food down. It's just inconsiderate.
I think that's still a custom, is it not?
It's just inconsiderate. I would just be like, no, get it back. And if they take it away,
tower.
Yeah, if they take it away, I'm stealing the cutlery.
I'm sure people do that.
So you mentioned having to keep the job for money reasons.
Yes. Which
is one of the weird reasons, or one of the strange things about them having all these places in Los Angeles where it's very expensive. But the contract workers are actually treated possibly worse. Because the contract workers were left with no bonuses. They had different access badges. I think they had orange badges to everybody else's blue. Right. Which was their way of basically identifying them as something different. They were excluded from employee surveys no matter how long their contract was for. So even if it was a year or so, they still were excluded. They were promised some of them were promised full-time contracts, which never materialised. And they were allowed 6 paid days off a year. So for a day off, they needed to work 500 non-overtime hours in 13 weeks leading up to the day off with no sick days. So if they took a sick day, they couldn't have a day off for 13 weeks.
That's despicable.
And they were given 30 to 40% less pay. Now, none of this is legal here.
No.
None of that is legal. They would all have been able to sue Activision blind if they'd tried any of that here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to quickly look through it. 20 minutes at staff parties, different floors probably fine, it's just not a great work environment. You need the Q&A testers nearby, but that's legal. Not allowed to talk to developers. I think you'd struggle to do that. Like fire someone for having a friendship. I don't think you'd be able to do that. Different car park, that's fine. Butt of all the jokes and blamed for everything. Actually, they probably could sue you for that. Because butt of all the jokes would be a hostile work environment, and being blamed for everything would be possibly dangerous to your future employment chances. No air conditioning and left eating scraps would both be illegal, I think.
Yeah.
Contract workers, no bonuses. You could argue that. Different access badges, you'd probably get away with that, but obviously it's not necessarily great. Excluded from employee surveys. You might be able to wangle that, but you'd have to do it very carefully. Promise a full-time contract would never happen, you'd probably get away with it. 40% less pay, well, that's a personal contract thing, so you'd probably get away with that. The day off work, though, would never happen.
No.
You'd never be able to get away with that. You have to give people 25 days holiday.
Depending on how many days a week you work.
Yeah. So, well,
So
yeah, that's days off,
I work
isn't
part-time.
it?
I work part-time. I think, I don't know how many hours it calculates to. I work 6.5 hours, right? That's a day. I think I get 91.5 hours.
A month.
A year. To take off. I think
like
that's what it is.
15 days then.
Yeah.
Right.
But I work part-time.
Right, that's fine, that makes sense. But the point is that these people aren't working part-time.
Yeah.
So they'd been mandated 20 to 25, things 25 days off.
Yeah.
In Scotland.
That's mad.
So they wouldn't be allowed to do that where a sick day could leave them.
Yeah.
And 25 days is on top of sick days. Also, when it comes to mental health and doctor's notes, you can be given a sick line on full pay for 6 months.
Yeah.
I've got a good comparison here, comparing Activision with certain other people who've managed to free themselves from Activision's evil grasp.
What?
Bungie. They recently waited to patch a gun which was too powerful.
Yeah.
And the reason that they waited was to prevent developer crunch.
Yeah, well, that's where they've got a limited amount of time to get everything done in. I hate crunch time.
Mm-hmm. So that's a really good. That's a really good example of how bad Activision are.
Yeah.
I mean, this is inhuman. It's basically, you know what it is? It's human battery farming. That's what it is. You get battery chickens.
Yeah.
That's what this is, but with humans.
Just sounds really horrible. I feel bad for them. I feel bad that their situation is that they feel like they have to put up with those kind of conditions. Should we move on, please?
Yeah. E3. Now, I think we've gone far enough since E3 to plan for that little idea I had to evaluate how relevant E3 is at the minute. There's been lots of people suggesting recently that E3 is becoming less and less relevant because less and less people are showing up. I think they're just choosing when to show up.
Yeah.
So the reason that certain people aren't here this year is because there's no point. They're going to come next year and they'll have consoles to show off. So what's the point?
Yeah, there's no point if you've got nothing new to show, then there's no point, especially if it's something like E3.
Yep. So my idea was that we watch the E3 coverage don't take notes, and then see what we can remember next time we get together and sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So,
We shall see.
Yes.
You know what I really need? I need one of those little Harry Potter time turners.
Right. So that's what we're going to try with E3.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to do it for next week, but it might have to be the week after because you're quite busy this week.
Yes.
But
many things.
Because there's like 10 to 15, 20 hours of video to watch. But maybe we could get started this week and have it for the week after.
Yeah.
Next thing we're going to talk about is EA.
What would you like to talk about EA?
Well, EA have recently become very confused as to, for some reason, as to why they are so universally disliked. Now, EA have been disliked for over a decade, I think.
Has it
Or
been
about
that long?
a decade. Yeah. I want to know why they're so disliked.
I think it's just their attitude has changed. The attitude on what they're prioritizing has changed.
I don't know if it's even changed. I just don't know if it was possible for them to express their attitude properly before. But what do you mean?
I think it's just the controversy with the loot boxes and also what happened with the Star Wars game.
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront, thank you. I was about to say Battlefield. I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not right.
Battlefield 5 did mess up as well, but Battlefront 2 was like the loot box killer.
Yeah.
And it's going to take down Activision with it, so EA might actually be loved for that.
I think it's just the fact that within the last 10 years, a lot more smaller game companies have popped up creating nice little independent games.
Well, EA were, I think if memory serves, were a publisher of smaller games, of other games, but they developed a reputation for not taking games seriously if they didn't own the IP.
Yeah.
And that eventually bled into a massive problem. Like, people just don't want EA publishing their games anymore.
Yeah.
Similar to Activision. And I think that's been a big problem for EA. But I think if you the biggest problem that they've got is stuff that you have been here for over the past year or so. So we're talking about things like the loot boxes with Battlefront, or the gender field for Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Especially Battlefront 2, because they make so much of their money from loot boxes. And the problem wasn't just the egregious loot boxes, it was the fact that the progression system was linked to loot boxes.
But also, if I'm to think of games that EA, like if I say EA, there's two games I think of as just FIFA and Battlefront. Those are literally the only two games I can think of off the top of my head.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
Madden, I think they have Madden as well.
I do like Battlefield. Battlefield so far. I still can't go back to play it, so I'm still angry at the fact I can't get past that last level. I've not got over the anger yet. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you play something so much and you can't get past it, you have to go take a break.
Yeah. Well, once you've done doing the things that you need to do this week, I'd give it another go, because you'll probably get past it.
Okay.
That's the way it works. You just suddenly end up getting by those things. What is it? Giant Bomb had a discussion getting close to like 8 years ago or something like that now, where they spoke about all the different potential names for that phenomenon where you just leave a game and then come back and you're able to do it.
Yeah.
I can't remember what any of them were now. But it's this idea that, especially with sleep, but also if you just stop doing it and leave, your brain essentially just rewires itself to suit the problem, and then you come back and solve it.
Yeah, that happens with me a lot.
Yeah, because you just adapt and you learn. So you'll get, it'll be fine. Why do you dislike the EA? Because I think you do.
I don't know if I do. I just find that what they're doing with the loot boxes is kind of not fantastic, a bit scummy kind of.
No, I think it's even worse than that, because they're marketing addictable practices to children.
Well, I mean, you constantly hear, like I was just reading on the news there, One of the reasons why I didn't really include it is because it's just stories you hear again and again and again about kids emptying their mum and dad's bank accounts, buying loot boxes, or buying game packs.
Yeah. Or surprise mechanics.
Okay.
The reason people hate them is because of their anti-consumer practices. They're more interested in making money than making a good game.
Yeah.
They've made that clear, especially the way they spoke to the Uncharted lady. I think it was the Uncharted lady. They hired the lady who made Uncharted.
Yeah.
And then they said to her to make a Star Wars game, and then they said to her, "Why have you made the Star Wars game that's like an Uncharted game when you're the maker of Uncharted?" Essentially, I'm paraphrasing to make them sound more stupid, but you get the point. That's how stupid they were. Make it more obvious to understand how stupid they actually were. And then they cancelled the game and fired her because they said to her, "Where can we make $1 billion from this?" Well, you can't. You're fired. That's why. Anti-consumer practices.
Indeed. Now can we move on to GTA?
Yes. So.
Because you were stuck on a bit on GTA 5. Is it GTA Online or GTA 5?
GTA Online.
GTA Online. You've been stuck with Brian for a little bit on the heist mission.
A little bit. It's like 1.5 years we've been stuck on the same heist.
Well, I didn't think it was that long.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that we've been stuck on this heist for 1.5 years because we got stuck on, I think mission 3 of the 5 setup missions, and now we're stuck on mission 5.
Yeah.
But what we did was we watched the Giant Bomb premium playthroughs of it.
Yeah.
So they were playing through all the heist missions. So we were watching those because we've got a membership. And we got to the video in which they get to this mission. So we sat and we watched all of them up to it because we enjoyed it. But we also sat and watched this one especially because we wanted to see how they did it. And me and Brian were bang on correct.
How were you correct?
Well, anytime they got stuck, they were able to, in any mission, they were able to very quickly get past it and work out what they needed to do and get the mission done. Very few of the missions took more than a few goes, to be honest, at best. A lot of them they did first time. Pardon me. So they started this mission, they drive to where they're going, which took ages because for some reason they kept crashing all their cars. Not a problem though. They then got to where they were going and started the sneaky part. And they didn't know how. I mean, the embarrassing thing for them was that it took them about 10 goes, 15 goes to work out just how to get through the front door, which me and Brian figured out on our first go.
Yeah.
So they eventually they get in, and it was their second or third go once they were through the front door where they finished it. Because they did exactly what me and Brian. They had 2 guys sniping.
Yeah.
Abby and Vinny were doing the sniping, so they were counting down to each other.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. You get a guy on the left, I'll get a guy on the right. 3, 2, 1. They had Dan, who was hovering above, taking out any extras that they couldn't see from their position lower down. So sometimes they would team up some shots with, So I think, was it Vinny and Dan? They took a shot. Vinny had to run away. He got a guy at the side. Dan took a shot up at somebody who was in a tower, right?
Yeah.
And then Vinny went back and him and Abby shot the last couple of guys and it was fine. And the whole time, Alex, who was the 4th man, was just sitting in a car. He was sitting in the car, just driving it, hiding it. He drove it in the front door, hid it in the car park, and then drove it round and parked it. Dan hacked the door. They went in. They got inside this van and drove off, and that was it.
Yeah. So that's been your and Brian's plan.
Exactly. The 2 times that me and Brian have got anywhere on this mission, we did it by just walking on the ground together.
Yeah.
And timing our shots to take out the pairs of people. That was it. We didn't even use the snipers. We just used suppressed machine guns.
Yeah.
But the other 2 people always set off an alarm trying to join in. That was the problem.
So this is why you're wanting...
Literally, remember I said to you the previous time?
Yeah.
We need 1 person to do a bit of sniping and 1 to drive the car. That's it. There's not much needed. It's just people constantly trying to do everything. Is why we can't get through the mission.
Well, I will, when it's on sale, I will buy GTA 5 and I will give you a hand.
Well, the problem is we still need another person.
Hills or James.
They'd have to rebuy the game, I think, and then they'd have to play. And it's difficult because it's difficult to get 4 people's time schedules to match up.
I know it is. Especially, you know, I know you don't like talking about the real world, but everybody's got a full-time job and everybody gets tired.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody takes up this side of the table.
Yeah, I'm quite badly squished off to the side here. But
my legs were sore.
But if we could get 4 people and get time schedules to match up, it wouldn't be difficult to do these.
No.
It really wouldn't. Especially if me and Brian decided to go back to the beginning and walk through them all with everyone. So yeah, it was just really, really aggravating because they did a mission before that as well. They got it done in the one video that was 48 minutes long, right?
Yeah.
Or an hour long. It was about 45 to an hour long. They did the 4th setup mission and then the 5th, and they were so far away from doing it with like 15 minutes to go. I thought they weren't going to do it and they were going to need another video.
Yeah.
But then with like 10 to go, 7 to go, they were easily getting in. So we realised that they were going to get it done, and that's why they called it, because the heist was the next video coming up. It was, as soon as they figured out what they needed to do, it was easy, because they were on TeamSpeak, they were on Team Chat, they were on whatever the heck you call it, and they were able to very easily say to each other, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And there was no ego involved. They just wanted to get it done. Alex just got in the car because he didn't want to set off any alarms, and he was just like, I'm just going to stay here because this means I'm not going to do anything wrong. Dan knows he's bad at stealth, so he just hovered around shooting some people. The other 2 are better at it, so they're the ones who went in and did all
Play
the
to
killing.
your strengths.
It wasn't just that, it was play to the team's requirements.
Yeah, but each person played to their strengths,
Yeah,
though, as
but
well.
to the objective.
Yeah.
They didn't just, like, nobody went and got an aircraft carrier and bombed the thing. They just played to their strengths to the objective. So it's just really, really annoying. It's really annoying because we were having a lot of fun with the heist until this heist, and I think the actual heist itself is quite fun. It's just so difficult to get to it.
Games aren't as fun when you grow up, are they? When you have to try
they're not as fun when you're not in a group talking to each other, doing something which is designed for that.
Yeah.
It's clear that these are not... They're not... If I was to put them in Destiny parlance, they're not strikes. They're raids.
Yeah.
So you can't have 3 people running around doing their own thing. It's designed for very specific mechanisms, very specific modes of play. So you need to have headset party chat.
Mm-hmm.
So you should have to have people either... But this is the thing, see that mission? Me and Brian could do it with 2, easy. We wouldn't need 3 or 4, we could do that with 2.
Okay. Well, I just need to get me butt into gear and get a game and to join you.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of setup stuff that we could do to get you good at the game, and there's also the single player. I was actually thinking about this. Another game I'd like to see you play would be LA Noire.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool.
No, I've seen people. I've not seen people play it, but I have definitely heard of it. I had to research it.
I have seen people play it, and a Giant Bomb people. I got really... I was watching... Same thing happened... I got quite angry, while watching LA Noire. But same thing happened while I was watching that GTA playthrough with Giant Bomb.
Yeah.
I was getting really angry with them because they were wrong about something, and I kept getting infuriated by it. And it was my rage... Pardon me. It was my rage associated with that particular mission that was causing me to just be angry.
Yeah.
So whenever they did anything wrong, oh my god, how did you do that? But there was some stupid stuff where like they hid in the middle of the road, but they thought they were hidden because they hid behind the car, but there was only space for 2 behind the car. So Vinny had to get in the car to hide, and it turns all the lights on. So as the enemy car was going by, he just ducked his head down and thought, right, well, that's all I can do. I was like, well, that was funny. But there were other times where they were just like trying to shoot at people and missing, and it was setting off the alarms. You're like, how did you miss? Like, he's not even running at you or shooting or anything. He's just walking backwards and forwards. Just shoot him in the face. Anyway.
Anywho.
We'll leave it there for today.
Yes. We shall.
I've very much enjoyed your company.
So I've very much enjoyed your company as well.
And we hope that you enjoyed our company too.
Yes, we enjoyed your company.
That's maybe a bit mental because they're not real yet.
There's 13 of them that are real.
Not yet, because they've not heard it yet. This is in the past. So if you enjoyed this, so we hope that you like below, you click the like button and you subscribe and hit the notification bell. You can leave a comment below. That would be much appreciated.
Yes.
Brian left one last time. Thanks very much, Brian. That's there's a lot of people who are behind on their comment quota. If this was Activision, we'd turn off the air conditioning. Or if it's Scotland, turn it on.
If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, it's overshadow.shadowcast. And if you'd like to email us, it's overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
Yes, you can email us with any questions. If they're naughty, rude or insulting, we just won't read them out.
Yes. I will not read those out.
But any disagreements with us, anything like that, we'd love to hear your opinion.
Yes, we would.
Any suggestions for topics?
But I think that'll be it. So I'll say goodbye and thanks for listening.
I will do the same.
Say bye-bye then.
Bye-bye then. Thanks for listening.